Unit 3, Learning Target Number 7, Convert between fractions and decimals. Let's begin talking about converting decimals to fractions by taking a look at a problem. You have been hired as a jeweler to inspect a diamond that weighs 0.6 grams. Express the weight of the diamond as a fraction. So we have a decimal, 0.6, and we want to express that as a fraction. When we talk about decimals and fractions, we always want to talk about place value. This 6 is in the tenths place, not the tens place, the tenths place. What that means is this is 6 out of 10. It's 6 over 10. Now, if we had a number like 0.60, we could say that that's 60 out of 100. We could say that as 60 over 100. Of course, it simplifies to 6 over 10. 6 out of 10 would be if we took a bar like this and we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and we filled up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of those. That would give us 6 out of 10. Or 60 out of 100 would be as if we did this. And we took all of these squares and we filled them up, 60 out of 100. And we're down to 60. So we have 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 out of 100. And that's how we convert decimals to fractions. Let's try it again. Here we have 0.25. We have 5 is our last digit, and it is in the 100ths place. 100ths place. So hundredths. I don't know if I'll have room here. Hundredths place. That means that there are 25 out of 100. If you want to think about it this way, 25 100ths. And so we'd have 10 and 20, and then we'd have 5 more here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We'd have 25 out of 100, and that is our fraction. Below that, we have a whole number and part of a decimal. We have 1.30. That means we have one whole, so we filled up, if you can imagine, we filled up an entire 100 squares, all filled up, have one whole, and then we have 30 more off to the side. 1, 2, 3. So 1.30. So what we can say is we have one whole, and then we have 3 is in the tenths place, right? We don't even need this extra 0. We can ignore that. We can say 1 and 3 out of 10. Right over here, 1, 2, 3 out of the total of 10. And that's our answer. Now let's go the opposite direction. Let's go from decimals to fractions by taking a look at a problem. Jake is filling his pool. It is currently 3/5 full. Express this as a decimal. As we begin to think about this problem, you have to understand that all fractions, every single fraction, is a division problem. So when we see 3 over 5, what we should see is 3 divided by 5. So we have 3 divided by 5. Now, how many times does 5 go into 3? It doesn't. 5 does not go into 3, so we put our 0 here. We let our decimal float to the top, and we add a 0. 5 goes into 36 times. 6 times 5 is 30. That leaves us with 0. So when we convert this to a decimal, we wind up with 0.6. His pool is 6/10 full. So let's try a couple more examples. Here we have 3/8. And remember, this is a division problem. It's saying 3 divided by 8. 3 divided by 8. 8 does not go into 3, so we'll add a 0 there and a decimal here. 8 goes into 30 how many times? Well, 8 times 3 is 24. 8 times 4 is 32, and that's too big, so we'll stick with 3. 8 times 3 is 24. 30 minus 24 is 6. We'll add a 0 and bring it down. 8 goes into 60 how many times? Well, 8 times 7 is 56. That leaves us with 4. We'll add another 0 and we'll bring it down. 8 goes into 40 5 times. 5 times 8 is 40, and that is a 0. And that leaves us with 0.375 is what 3/8 is expressed as a decimal. Now we have another situation over here. We have a mixed number. Now a mixed number is treated a little bit differently. We're going to take the whole number out. We got our whole right here. So we're going to put that over here, and we're going to put a decimal after it. And then we're going to treat 3/4 as a division problem and solve it. So we're going to take 3 and divide it by 4. 4 goes into 3 how many times? 0. So we add our decimal and our 0. And 4 goes into 30 how many times? 7 times. 4 times 7 is 28. So it leaves us with a 0. We'll add a 0 and bring it down. 4 goes into 20 how many times? 5. 5 times 4 is 20. That leaves us with a 0. So expressed as a fraction, 3/4 is 0.75. So we add that to the end of our whole number. That gives us 2 as the whole number and 0.75 as the fraction. Our answer is 2.75.